Hello, my name is Nicole, and I'll be discussing change management within a healthcare organization. So far, Meadowview Hospital has reorganized their IT department by separating it from the chief financial officer, while also restructuring the organization's health information technology leadership. It was previously recommended that the organization develop a chief information officer, a chief medical information officer, and a chief nursing information officer position. With the creation of these new positions, MVH developed a new HIT strategic plan and implemented a new EHR solution. This solution provides both patients and providers new features, such as providing electronic lab results. However, now the organization is facing a new challenge. Recently, a nurse requested to make a change to the EHR documentation features. That request was fulfilled by the IT analyst, but unfortunately, this change negatively impacted the respiratory therapy team by temporarily blocking them from recording important patient information. The respiratory team then flooded the IT help desk phone line by regarding this issue, and several hours later, the change requested by the nurses originally was reversed. Because of this issue, and in order to prevent future issues like this from arising, the HIT leadership would like to develop a change management policy and protocol. First, I'd like to discuss why this issue occurred. I believe the conflict stemmed from a lack of change management policies and protocols. Additionally, the IT analyst did not have guidance on the proper handling of requests. The functions of other departments were not considered prior to making this change. Outcome analysis was not conducted. The newly appointed HIT leadership positions were not properly utilized in the situation, and appropriate communication channels were not developed or used in this situation. So, what is change management? All Albury believes that in healthcare, it is an obligation to acquire and to maintain the expertise needed to undertake professional tasks and to undertake only the tasks that are within their competence or that person's competence. And he also argues that it is evaluating, planning, and implementing operations, tactics, and strategies, and making sure that the change is worthwhile and relevant. Secondly, why is change management important? It is important for healthcare organizations to remain competitive in a rapidly changing healthcare field. By utilizing change management, healthcare organizations can adopt and evolve as new technologies, innovations, interventions, and advancements become available. It's also important and encourages both patients and providers to invest in the healthcare organization, either by agreeing to receive services or by joining the healthcare organization through employment. Lastly, change management accounts for the barriers to achieving success and encourages the successful execution of plans. So, what are the benefits to change management? Change management allows us to measure and monitor outcomes from the changes we have implemented. It helps us determine the success of the newly implemented changes, and it helps us to determine the return on investment. It also helps us anticipate change and better plan for future conflicts and changes that may arise. It helps us prevent delays or stops in the delivery of healthcare and patient care. And it improves patient health and safety, as well as improves healthcare quality, and allows us to better allocate resources and develop budgets. In order to generate change management and to manage this change, we must use a change management model. Cotter's change management model is a pretty popular one and consists of 8 steps. These 8 steps consist of creating urgency, forming a coalition, creating vision, gaining buy-in, empowering action, creating short wins, building the change, and making them stick. So with MVH, these are some examples of how we can utilize Cotter's change management model in order to develop changes, such as the one that we faced in the situation, or to better address situations like what we faced with the nursing and respiratory teams. So 1, we can create a sense of urgency within the organization. This includes why these changes are needed and what benefits they would have to the organization as well as its staff members. 2, we want to build an implementation team. So in this case, I would strongly recommend using these new HIT leadership positions that we included or developed, including the Chief Medical Information Officer, the Chief Nursing Information Officer, as well as the Chief Information Officer. So by building an implementation team, we're going to structure who receives change requests, who processes them, and building a team to discuss these change requests and any ideas that are presented to them. Third, we're going to develop a vision. What goals does MVH hope to achieve? How can these changes help achieve these goals, especially any requests that staff or important stakeholders are requesting? Fourth, we're going to gain buy-in by generating support for any changes that the organization would like to implement to better structure how these implementations are going to be rolled out. Fifth, we're going to empower action by involving end users and key clinical stakeholders in the change process. We gain better buy-in, and we can also better troubleshoot some of the issues that end users are facing and kind of get their feedback in the development process as well. Sixth, we're going to make change stick. This ensures that changes are being supported and carried out by the staff throughout the organization in accordance with the vision that the team has developed. Seventh, we're going to manage expectations. So in order to manage expectations, it involves listening to the perceptions of different people within the organization and how these changes affect them and affect their responsibilities within the organization. Eight, will allocate sufficient resources. So it's important to budget appropriately and accurately. It's important to allocate both staff and materials as well as finances to these programs and to support these changes. 9, it's important to develop and celebrate short-term wins. A lot of these times, these big changes are very big projects and very big undertakings, so it's important to acknowledge the progress that's made and give staff the encouragement that they're doing their part to achieve the goals of the overall project. 10, it's important to ensure adequate training. So it's important to allocate support staff and develop good vendor relationships, as well as create training programs for staff to achieve the program or achieve the goals of the program. 11, it's important to involve IT staff, especially when we're utilizing HIT or health informatics, so they have a good understanding of the limitations and barriers that HIT has and can help troubleshoot any problems or find resolutions to some of these IT issues as well. 12, it's important to analyze workflow processes. So I think this is a big one for our situation that we faced in this nursing and respiratory challenge. So it's important to examine how these changes are affecting workflow and analyze if these changes are actually improving workflow for both the sake of the staff as well as the patients who are affected by these changes as well. 13, it's important to have communication avenues for both delivering change information as well as receiving requests. So in this case, there weren't appropriate channels for the team to offer any feedback or any request for changes. So it's important to have those in place as well. And 14, it's important to test these changes and prepare for implementation. So this allows us to fix bugs and prepare staff for these new changes as well. So my specific recommendations for MVH include utilizing these newly created HIT leadership roles to create a change management team, and these roles include the CIO, the CMIO, and the CNIO. Next, it's important to plan meetings where change requests can be reviewed and discussed. It's important to develop communication channels where requests for changes can be received. It's important to involve these end users and staff affected by these new changes in the EHR software. Next, it's important to conduct workflow analysis of positions and duties affected by these changes. And it's important to update procedure manuals to include changes that these plans have affected. Next, it's important to ensure the proper training has been completed for both clinical staff and the IT staff so that we can avoid these situations where people are performing duties that were outside of their responsibilities or not in the correct order. Next, it's important to address expectations and different perceptions of how these new changes to the EHR software affects new positions, as well as these limitations to any requests that staff might have. And lastly, it's important to allow staff the opportunities to communicate concerns, needs, or limitations related to these proposed changes. And so that is my presentation on change management and some of my recommendations for Meadowview Hospital, and especially in this situation where we're dealing with change management and request to make changes and the correct protocols and policies to address those changes. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.